or did I start with that? Yeah, they were using like old time cards, like punch systems. So I was able to find a program that, eliminated them having to punch on a time clock. So we converted to an electronic system. So that was something. So that was
Mhm.
really, I guess that's business manager. So that
Yeah.
saved time, it saved a lot of time. It saved definitely HR because you didn't have to sit and calculate hours for a couple of hours. So it was all done electronically. So that was something that I handled. I did
Mm-hmm.
work with, so basically all the renewals, property, all the insurance, I handled all that stuff, making sure that you asked the question. Sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself.
Okay, no, that's okay. So, but then if I begin with, so the first point says successful implemented new invoicing, payroll, and time tracking system. So, time tracking is something we discussed that you digitized it and it was easier to track hours. But then in terms of invoicing and payroll, so for those as well, like weren't they using any systems for those?
Invoicing, payroll. I think I actually, again, I don't remember, but I do think that I was able to get everything digitized.
Okay. But then, do you remember that what tool for payroll did you suggest or for invoicing?
I think just take it out because honestly, if somebody asked me about it, I wouldn't feel good about it because I don't remember.
Okay,
So
okay.
maybe just I remember time tracking because I remember specifically going, oh my God, these people use time cards. Like this is like from the dinosaur ages.
Yeah.
So I don't, but I really specifically, again, one of these places that I just want to forget about.
Yeah. Okay, great. Yeah, and wrote and implemented detailed employee handbook providing clear guidelines for all departments. So, yeah, so they must be lacking an employee handbook. And so you just define the roles and responsibilities for each department.
Yes, same. Like
Mm-hmm.
I think they had something in place. Again, I'm going based on recollection, and my recollection is not very clear, but um, I think I updated everything. Like,
Mm-hmm.
worked with the departments, same kind of thing. Found the holes, um, and just kind of updated things so that it was more relevant to that time frame.
Okay. So did that handbook also include, employee benefits and stuff like that, or
I don't recall.
workplace
I don't.
expectations? Okay,
I don't
okay, no
recall.
problem with that. And then you conducted new employee onboarding and facilitated new hire orientations as well.
Yeah, and the health, the dental, the 401k. So that was my first crack at human resources stuff that I
Mhm.
had no experience in, and I just dove in and did it.
Yeah.
Again, just trying to find something to do since because they hired me. So, yeah.
Okay. But then there some specific positions that you had to do onboarding and orientation for, or like you had to do it company wide?
I'm gonna say it was whoever we hired at the time. So I'm gonna venture to say company wide.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And so, in terms of onboarding and was it like just a one-on-one session with the person who is employed, or did you have to create some, I would say, a manual for them to go through?
No, I mean manuals had already been created. It was probably multiple meetings just to make sure that the person, was trained properly. Honestly, I don't remember specifically, but yeah, making sure that they
Hmm.
understood, how to clock in, understood benefits, what their blah blah blah, what they were eligible for. So it was a lot of HR stuff
Okay, great.
that I found out that I did it for the first time and I never want to do it again.
Okay, okay. And so then, which system were you using to manage, account payables, receivables, and collections?
Oh God, I want to say I want to say QuickBooks, but then I'm like, was it QuickBooks or was QuickBooks? Does anybody even use QuickBooks anymore?
I think people do.
I think it was QuickBooks, but that's a guess.
Mhm.
But I
Because
did.
you know,
I learned.
whenever even
I
I
learned.
think about accounting, whenever
I
even
mean,
I
I
think
learned.
about accounting, the only tool I know about is QuickBooks, so it
Okay,
could be
then there you
QuickBooks.
go. Then that's what stands out in my brain, and I think I was self-taught, and I learned very quickly how to do payables, receivables, and collections. Calling people, telling them they owed us money.
Mm-hmm.
Oh God, I don't ever want to do that again. Um,
Okay, great. So shall we move on then?
yes, please.
Okay, and then you were the school director at Career Management Institute.
Yay, that's a good one.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, great. And so let's just begin with, my favorite question, that what was the situation like when you joined that institute? And, if you remember, if we go back that far, and what were some new processes that you introduced there?
Well, in that case, the school was a non-Title IV school. So that means they weren't accredited and they were not approved to provide financial aid or Title IV funding to their students. So it was a strictly vocational rehabilitation school for people that had been injured and that were going through the workers' comp system. So that was something that I did. So I oversaw I went to Washington, D.C., went through the accreditation training, and took the school from non-Title IV to a Title IV school so that we had access to state and federal funding for our students.
Great. Okay, that's
so that's
amazing.
kind of what all of that has to do with.
Yeah, the first point.
Yeah, the first couple. I think. Yeah.
Okay, that's great. And then you had to establish compliance as well with federal and state laws.
Yeah, so because I had spent 11 years in the private sector in the school business, I was very, very familiar with federal and state laws. And so that was not difficult for me. So I just had to do training with the staff, making sure that, that they had that we had processes in place to make sure that we were following the compliance. But again, it wasn't a new thing. It was something that I was already very familiar with.
Okay, so did that involve, changing the existing processes and procedures to make them compliant with the federal laws?
Yeah, it did.
Okay, great. Okay, and met with state and federal compliance auditors. Okay, so why was meeting with them necessary? Like, did you have to take some consultation from them on how to?
They would come in. They would, in order to be accredited or even approved by the state, and things have changed since then. But yeah, they would come in and review your curriculum. They would check and make sure that you were, in order for reapprovals, you had to be approved every year. They would make sure that you were basically following all the federal and state rules. So there was a process that you had to prepare for an audit, and so I was kind of at the helm of leading those, and we were reapproved. So.
Okay, great. And establish organizational goals. So yeah, so what sort of goals did you need to create?
I don't remember. Oh God, this is old. Geez. Sounds like a bullshit line to me, actually. I don't really know. It looks like I was just looking for filler in my resume, because basically that was just monitoring all the departments, making sure, again, it's the same kind of thing that I've always done in my career, is going in, making sure that we have processes in place so that people can be successful. So it was it was looking at current processes, making sure that that they were people's job roles were clearly defined. It's kind of the same thing that we've talked about in some of the other jobs.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay.
maybe that can go or be reworded. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. And so, were you managing any team in this role?
Yeah, I was the director, so I was the boss.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay,
yeah, I
that's great.
managed
And how many
everybody.
people?
And it was including instructors, so it was the administrative team, admissions, placement, and instructors. And I would say probably 15 to 20 people.
Okay. Okay, that's great. Okay, and then you were responsible for the operating budget as well?
Yes. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so I had budget meetings with the owner every month and looking at ways to save money, looking at leases, looking at phone systems. I think during the time that I was there, we had I was able to get the copier leases reduced. I was able to get we moved to a new building, so I was involved in negotiating a lease for a new building, a new phone system. I was in charge of implementing a new phone system. Wow, this stuff is like in the archives. I can't believe I'm remembering it. And just maintaining budget, making sure that we were hitting budget, making sure that our salespeople were, hitting their numbers, providing them with whatever tools that they needed, guidance, training. Did that answer that?
Yeah, it does. Okay. And then you hired and trained team members as well. So, like, again, in this position, you had to hire a few people as well.
Yep, I did it all. There I literally did it all because the owner was very absent. He was a very absent owner. So I pretty much did everything there. Placed the ads, did the interviews, did the HR, did the training, the onboarding. Obviously training was done. It was most of it they were teachers or instructors. So they would sit with other instructors to kind of go through curriculum and things like that. But as far as the kind of nuts and bolts, yeah, I did it from start to finish.
Okay, perfect. And you provided performance coaching as well?
I provided what now?
Performance coaching as well.
I did. I actually did that, and I just remembered that I did that I did that at my current job as well. So yes, coaching.
Oh, nice.
So I would do coaching with each staff member. I would do annual coaching, and then we also did quarterly coaching where we would involve the staff member to talk to them about what they wanted to improve upon and get them really involved in the process. Look at their strengths, look at areas where they, growth areas and things like that. So yeah, I forgot about that. I did coaching. I did a lot of coaching at Career Management Institute, and I did coaching at Adoption Network as well.
Okay.
And then prior to that, I worked 11 years in the school business at a school, and I know that was taking me back to the archives, but it was a lot of the same kind of stuff. So I sent that to you if you think there's anything relevant. But yeah, we probably don't want to make me look like I'm 80.
Yeah, no, because while I just had a quick glance over it, so I think it's most of the stuff that you already manage, apart from the financial programs that you handle, because going back in time also, it was more manual work back then, and with less digitized systems, and everything has evolved so much over time that we really look antique in some way when we discuss such things.
No, I agree with you. I agree.
Yeah.
I don't want to, like I said, I don't want to. And then the last thing is my degree. So I'm currently working on finishing my degree, and I'm super committed to it. And so because of the positions that I've held, and especially the one that I'm in right now, Like there's nobody
Yeah.
that works in there's literally nobody in my field that works in this field, especially in a director role, that does not have probably minimum master's degree. So I have been able to, and education, I worked in the education field, so I've been able to get around it my entire life. But I also know that it is going to hold me back from certain opportunities, which is fine. But I would like to include it on my resume because I am working on it. I am working on my bachelor's in psychology, but it's not completed. But I'm super committed to completing it. So I'll have it completed next year in 2020. But I don't want to say that. So is it appropriate? It's on my LinkedIn. My LinkedIn just says psychology, bachelor's in psychology. So is it something that I can list on my resume? Or what do you think? What do you recommend?
Yeah. I think I will recommend for that. Like if you don't, in case if a degree is in progress, what we do is that we mention an expected date. But if you don't want to include that, then I would suggest to remove the date altogether. Let's not mention the date and just mention the degree program to camouflage that it's not something that you are just completing, and it's something it might look like something that a degree, and we can write degree program, bachelor's in psychology from California Coast University. So that's
Yeah, and then
something
just
we
leave
can
the
do.
date off. Yeah, because there's a lot of jobs
Yeah.
that don't care about that, but there are a lot of jobs that do, and I don't want to. And my process of job searching, I'm not going to be just sending out my resume to random companies. I'm going to do networking. I'm going to build relationships with people. I'm not just going to randomly send it off. So because every job that I've had, every one of the jobs that I've had, I've literally known somebody and gotten hired. So I've never really had to go through that process, and so I'm very familiar with going out and getting my own opportunities. So I'm not going to let it hold me back, but I want it on there for sure.
Sure, definitely. And is it a BS degree or a BA degree?
The BS. Oh wait, you know what?
Okay.
Good question. Hold on. Let me look it up.
Okay.
Hold on. It's actually I should know that, right? Actually, I think it is. I think it's. Academic plan. It is a Bachelor of Science. Yes.
Okay, perfect.
Bachelor of Science in Psychology.
Okay, perfect. But when I look at the job postings that you sent me, so there's no specific industry or field that you are targeting. It's more about operations management or general management on the whole. So one thing I would like to know that when I'm creating your LinkedIn profile, so in the summary section or the about section, that's a place that we really create a value proposition for you as a candidate by highlighting that I am this and this sort of a person, this is what I've done, and this is what I can do for your company as well. So there, do you have any preference in terms of highlighting your skills that, okay, I really want this thing to come out that I'm, really skilled at doing this or doing that. So any preference you have?
I mean, this one's tough for me because I love what I do. I love what I do. Everything about it. I love building the greatest thing for me is building a team, is building a great team, finding a company. And my challenge right now is I've built an amazing team. I've created all these amazing processes and things where everybody's just being successful. But the company that I work for culturally, even though I have the great team and the team culture is correct, it's the owner culture that I don't agree with and some of the financial decisions that they make. And so it's just not a fit. That's why I don't want to just bail, because I'm so committed and I love it. So it's hard to say because I've been doing it for so long. I worked in education for a really long time. I have no interest in going back there. But I love management. I love to train. I love to lead. I love to find good talent. I love to help people reach their full potential. I love to work in a team. I love to, my meetings are amazing. I had a team meeting today, and everybody's laughing and having fun, and the culture is just amazing. And so it's really hard because I'm not that familiar with LinkedIn. I'm not sure how to answer that question.
Okay, no problem with that. But then, you have my email address as well. So in the meantime, if you think that